You ain't no goddamn good to me unless you can kill crowds. Put a big fat hole in his back. Put a big fat hole in his fucking back.
No.
Why the hell not?
Hello everyone, I'm Johnny, and today by request, I'm taking a look at Fury, a movie that might be a little over-reviewed by now, but I also think it's a movie that people were overly hard on. So as always, I'll try to highlight the good in this historical movie, because I think there is some greatness in this film, despite some flaws. When judging such films, it's important to look at the objectives of the film, and for a historical film, it's important to consider whether it adds any new and genuine perspectives to real events. Fury takes place in April of 1945 and follows a tank crew active in combat in Europe since D-Day, June 6, 1944, and before this in North Africa. In April of 1945, the German army is on its last legs. Hitler commits suicide this month. Berlin is encircled by the Soviets, and the US Army takes Nuremberg. There is still resistance, which, like in the movie, comes in the form of anti-tank guns, personal anti-tank weapons, and the occasional tank or armored vehicle. The movie's absolute #1 strength, and likely objective, is that it highlights how during this time there were now battle-hardened and war-weary American troops, who looked a lot different than what you've seen in other movies. The move into Germany for Allied forces has often been portrayed as exciting, heroic, epic, adventurous. Even realistic, darker World War II productions like Band of Brothers have moments of excitement, like the capture of the Eagle's Nest, Adolf Hitler's mountain villa. But this is not how the story plays out in Fury. Fury is from start to finish a look at a group of men who've suffered, changed, lost their humanity, and at times don't even seem like the good guys. This is an uncomfortable but accurate portrayal of what can happen to men from any country during war. One scene that universally makes everyone uncomfortable is the dinner scene. Some hate it, others love it. It at the very least is a moment of incredibly strong acting from the entire cast. The scene in many ways will make you dislike at least some of the characters. John Bernthal plays a particularly excellent miscreant here, and throughout the entire movie. But there's a delicate balance throughout the film with these characters. The movie doesn't ask you to like them, but to simply understand them. They've lost touch. That's where Logan Lerman's character Norman is put to use as the new guy, the foil. The tank crew doesn't just treat him poorly because he is new, but because they are simply forgetting how to exist around anyone decent or normal. War Daddy, Brad Pitt's character, even separates away from his men with Norman in what seems to be a moment where he wants a break and a chance to remember civility. The characters are extremely well acted. Their interactions with each other are believable and genuine. They don't represent every combat veteran, but they certainly represent ones that most movies overlook because they are not a popular representation of an American World War II hero. It's hard to criticize the movie for making dark characters, even if they do make us uncomfortable. Fury, of course, gets the most criticism for the technical and tactical. Likely one of the biggest reasons people get so upset about the tactics in the movie is because the movie is one of the absolute best showings of military props and vehicles in American war movie history. Fury went to incredible lengths to get a real Tiger I and Shermans, with Fury being an Easy 8 Sherman variant. All these tanks are the real and rare incredible thing. The expectations for authentic use as such was very high for this movie. Even some of the details in the movie lead you into believing you're going to see some genuine, authentic, and thought-out tank battles. The sets are excellent, even small details like showing indirect or plunging fire from a .50 cal for a few seconds gets the expectations up. Sadly, the tactics of the tank battles are flawed. The biggest issue is the Tiger I charging the Shermans with its superior gun, obviously effective at range. The Shermans choosing to charge the Tiger is less an issue. Their guns are more accurate while moving compared to the Tiger, and the 75mm gun Shermans are weak at range. However, Fury's 76mm gun would have been effective at the range the Tiger was spotted. Many viewers of the movie would further have been confused as to why a Tiger 1 would shoot the Sherman in the rear of the column and not the Easy 8 at the front of the column during the ambush. Ideally, the Tiger 1 would have shot Fury at the front and then moved on to the rear tank. Then, if confusion allowed enough time for it, picked off the two Shermans in the middle. What would have been excellent is if the movie developed the German tank crew, even just for a few minutes. The studio got an authentic Tiger 1, an amazing feat. So squeeze it for all it's worth and introduce us to the crew and their tactical situation. Give us a reason, at least, as to why they did what they did. Were they using meth, starving, demoralized, operating on no sleep, almost out of fuel? These are all possible things. Even being in a Tiger 1 would not have been a fun place to be in April of 1945. It's a beautifully shot scene, but there is no real reason an authentic after-action report couldn't have been used or modified for the engagement. Half of these movie scripts can honestly just be stolen from the real world. World War II has thousands of similar documented events. Likewise, the end battle is a frustrating mess. It's an immobile Sherman versus 200 to 300 infantry, many armed with anti-tank Panzerfausts. This scene too could have been made equally heroic and interesting. Ideally, the situation could have been made more realistic by having the battle take place at a greater range, while underscoring maybe a morale issue with the German forces. It would have been interesting to see the crew discuss tactical options. Maybe Fury shoots off a couple HE rounds at range and then the crew retreats to the tree line, where they've set up the 50 cal. Maybe they even laid a few mines or booby-trapped the tank. There are just so many more interesting and realistic ways they could have set up this battle. But if you just get hung up on the tactics and such details, it's a shame because you can overlook what the movie did really well. For one, the movie brought genuine tanks to the big screen and gave the audience a taste of life inside a Sherman. Shots inside Fury used a very detailed mock-up of an Easy 8 Sherman, oversized by 10%. It should further be noted the cast underwent some crew training and the script and screenplay was at least inspired by memoirs such as Death Traps, the survival of an American armored division in World War II. Lastly, the objective of the film was a genuine, emotional experience over a tactical one. Over 500,000 Americans were taken out of combat during World War II for battle fatigue. Likely many more men who suffered from mental illness due to combat never spoke up or had anyone to speak to. Many of them simply carried on, broken, like the crew of Fury. Alright, I'm Johnny. Thanks for watching. I do hope if you haven't seen Fury, you'll check it out and can get through some of the flaws without being left too furious yourself, because it is well worth watching. Anyway, if you want to support the cat, like or subscribe or comment, and as always, have a nice rest of your day.